Your Infinite Power to be Rich by Joseph Murphy. Chapter 1. The Treasure House of Infinity. The Bible says, I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. John 10:10. You are here to lead a full and happy life, to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. All the spiritual, mental, and material riches of the universe are the gifts of God, good in themselves and capable of good use. God is the giver and the gift. Man is the receiver. God dwells in man, and this means that the treasure house of infinite riches is within you and all around you. By learning the laws of mind, you can extract from that infinite storehouse within you everything you need in order to live life gloriously, joyously, and abundantly. You were born to be rich. You grow rich by the use of your God-given faculties, by tuning in with the infinite. And as your mind becomes productive and full of good ideas, your labor will become more productive and will bring you all kinds of material riches. It is your feeling of oneness with God in your heart that makes you rich. And you are rich according to your mental attitude and faith in all good things good. All of the riches of the infinite within and without are yours to enjoy. There is no virtue whatsoever in poverty, which in actual fact is a mental disease, and it should be abolished from the face of the earth. You are here to find your true place in life and to give of your talents to the world. You are here to expand and unfold in a wonderful way according to a God-given potential, and to bring forth spiritual, mental, and material riches which will bless humanity in countless ways. Learn how to surround yourself always with beauty and luxury, and realize your inalienable right to life, liberty, freedom, and peace of mind. It is your divine right to dramatize, reveal, portray, and express the power, elegance, and riches of the Infinite One. The science of getting rich. This is a universe of law and order. There are principles and laws by which all of our experiences, conditions, and events take place. There is a definite law of cause and effect in everything. The science of getting rich is based on the law of belief. If thou canst believe all things are possible to him that believeth, Mark 9:23. The law of life is the law of belief. To believe is to sincerely accept something as true. Believe in the abundant life, the happy life, the successful life, and live in the joyous expectancy of the best, and invariably the best will come to you. It is the belief of man that makes the difference between wealth and poverty, between success and failures, and between health and sickness. It is a cosmic law that like thoughts always produce like effects. Therefore, any man who boldly claims the riches of the infinite will receive them. You are born with all the equipment necessary to lead a full, happy, and successful life. You are born to win, to conquer, to rise above all obstacles, and demonstrate the glories and beauties within you. All the powers, qualities, attributes, and aspects of God are within you. Your life is God's life, and that life is your life now. God is always successful in whatever He undertakes, whether it is a tree or a cosmos. You are one with the infinite, and you can't fail. You are not here to earn a mere living. Life is a gift to you. You are here to express life and to give of your hidden talents and abilities through your mind, body, and soul. Your desire for health, abundance, happiness, peace, and true place in life represents the urges, prompting, and intimidations of infinite life seeking expression through you. Desire to make the most out of yourself. A businessman's 3 steps to riches. A business friend of mine in Beverly Hills said to me in his store, "My brother is in the same business as I am, just 3 blocks away, and he is prospering and rolling in wealth." Recently, he hired 2 additional sales clerks. "Yet I can't make ends meet. It is not the environment or the merchandise, it must be me." I commented that getting rich and advancing in life is not a matter of a certain business or a certain location, that riches are of the mind of man, and that some men of great talent remain poverty-stricken and frustrated, while others who have very little talent or education prosper beyond their fondest dreams. I told him about 3 steps to unfailing riches. He followed these 3 steps and progressed remarkably. First step: never make a negative statement about finances, such as "I can't pay the rent," "I can't make ends meet," "business is very bad," "I can't pay my bills," and so on. As soon as the negative thought "I can't" comes to mind, affirm instead, "I am the one with the infinite storehouse within me, and all my needs are met instantaneously." It may be necessary to do this 50 times in 1 hour, but persist and the negative thought will cease to trouble you. Second step: make it a habit during the course of the day to condition your mind to the riches of the infinite by affirming, "God is an ever-present help in time of trouble, and God is the instant and immediate source of my supply, presenting me with all the ideas necessary at every moment of time and point of space." Third step: lull yourself to sleep every night by reiterating this great truth: "I am ever grateful for God's riches that are ever active, ever present, unchanging, and eternal." This businessman faithfully followed his spiritual prescription, and he has advanced by leaps and bounds. He framed the following biblical quotation, which stands on his desk: "The wilderness and the parched land shall be glad, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose." Isaiah 35:1. Recently, he said to me, "My mind was a wilderness and a desert. There was nothing growing there but weeds of ignorance, fear, and self-deprecation, and a sense of unworthiness. Now I am on the way to victory, achievement, and prosperity." Abundance of opportunity. You are now in the space age, the age of superjets, electronics, space travel, and countless innovations and discoveries in the realm of science, art, medicine, and industry. For example, the fields of computer and electronics are still in their infancy, and they offer endless scope for enterprise and traffic through the air, even to other planets. Is undoubtedly becoming a vast industry, giving employment to countless thousands and perhaps millions of people all over the world. There is abundance of opportunity for man and woman who will go with the current of life and cease swimming against the tide. The law of riches is the same for you as it is for all others. It has been said that the amount of fruit that falls to the ground and rots in the tropics every year would feed the whole world. Nature is lavish, extravagant, and bountiful. Man's shortage and lack comes because of his maldistribution and abuse of nature's bounty. Look at the building materials here in the United States. There is enough material to clothe all women like queens and all men like kings. The visible supply to all intents and purposes is inexhaustible. You know that the infinite source is inexhaustible. It is the fountain that never runs dry. All things in this universe are made out of one primordial substance. The only difference between copper, lead, gold, silver, wood, stones, or the watch on your wrist is the number and rate of motions of the electron revolving around the nucleus. The whole world and all things therein contained are made out of this universal primordial substance. The infinite storehouse of ideas within you never runs lean. If men need more gold and silver, they can make it synthetically from already existing elements. Infinite intelligence responds to your need, and it is its content nature to enlarge itself and to find a fuller expression through you. She found riches within herself. A woman who listens every morning to my radio program wrote to me and said, "Bills are piling up. I am out of work. I have 3 children and no money. What shall I do?" I suggested that she relax and condense the idea of her needs into a little phrase. God supplies all my needs now. The significance of these words to her meant the realization of all her desires, such as bill pays, a new position, a home, a husband, food and clothing for the children, and an ample supply of money. She repeated the phrase over and over again like a lullaby. Each time she affirmed, "God supplies all my needs now," a feeling of warmth and peace stole over her until she reached the point of conviction and felt the reality of it. This woman shortly achieved astonishing results. Her sister, whom she had not seen in 15 years, visited her from Australia and gave her $5,000 in cash as well as other gifts. She then became a secretary to a doctor and married him within a month. She is now supremely happy. The ways of the infinite truly are past finding out. This woman has truly found the storehouse of riches within herself. Poverty is a disease. Disease means a lack of ease, poise, balance, and equilibrium. Look around you and you will find people in all walks of life and in all types of businesses and professions who are getting rich and achieving their goals of life, while others living nearby them and in the same work and professions remain poor, ill-clad, and ill-fed. If you were physically healed, you would visit your doctor and have a physical checkup in order to correct the condition at once, no matter how poor you may seem to be. If you actually begin to think of riches, advancement, expansion, and progress, you will automatically receive a healing from your subconscious mind, and your good fortune will be multiplied and magnified in countless measures and ways. You may be in debt, however, and have no funds, influence, or tangible assets, but if you will begin to claim, "God's wealth is circulating in my life and there is always a divine surplus," wonders will soon happen in your life. It was a miracle. As I was writing the first chapter of this book, an elderly woman phoned me and said it was a miracle. She and her husband had been receiving a very small pension and barely could make ends meet. I had given her a special prayer to use, as follows: "God's wealth is circulating in my life. His wealth flows to me in avalanches of abundance, and I give thanks for my good now and for all of God's riches." She had kept repeating this prayer knowingly and feelingly many times during the day, and at the end of about 2 weeks, a man called at her door and asked her about a lot which she owned in the center of a desert. There was no home there, no water, only brush and cactus. She had tried for years to sell it, and no one would even look at it. The man said, "Our company wants it to install electricity and power there for construction purposes nearby." She was given $10,000 for the so-called worthless lot. This was not a miracle. It was the response of her subconscious mind. You can get capital. Thought is the only intangible and invisible power of which you are aware. Whatever you think tends to manifest itself in your life unless you neutralize it by a contrary thought. Your thought definitely and positively can produce for you tangible capital through your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind moves as it is acted upon by your thought. If you think poverty thoughts, you will become poor, no matter how rich you may now be. If you make a habit of thinking of riches, spiritual, mental, and material, you must become rich according to the law of reciprocal relationship. In other words, when you think wealth is mine now and remain faithful to that idea, your subconscious mind will respond by distributing to your wealth along all lines according to the nature of your thought life. All inventions, buildings, structures, cities, and devices of all kinds, including all man-made forms of processes as well as those of nature, came out of the same type of invisible storehouse within you. When you think of moving from your chair, you make that motion. The scientists thought of projecting voices and harmonics into your home. Television was the result. The electronic impulses were transmuted into form, voice, music, etc. You are living in a thought world. The infinite presence thought of a world and the universal mind moved according to that thought and took the form of a physical, dynamic universe. Plus, its system of stars, suns, and moons, and the endless galaxies in space. All this is the product of an infinite thinker thinking in an orderly, mathematical manner and with absolute precision. The poet Joyce Kilmer said, "Only God can make a tree. In creating the trees, whether oak or apple or what have you, the infinite thinker thinks of trees, and the universal mind starts in motion the forces bringing forth all trees according to their nature as prescribed by the principle of growth, which is constant throughout nature." The great law of attraction. Some months ago, a man showed me an invention of an engineering nature and said to me, "I need money to promote this, lots of money." I explained to him that there is a law of attraction which would supply him with everything he needed for the fulfillment of his dream. I suggested that he make a practice of claiming mentally, "Infinite intelligence within my subconscious mind attracts to me the ideal concern which will manufacture, promote, and sell this invention. There are mutual satisfaction, harmony, and divine agreement which bless all concerned." This statement became his habitual prayer. His subconscious got busy, and shortly thereafter he met a prominent businessman in the Wilshire Ebel Theater in Los Angeles, where I was lecturing. This businessman sponsored the invention and contracted with the proper parties to make the most of the invention. He has recently told me that it is going to be a fabulous product of a revolutionary nature with unlimited profit potential. This demonstrates the law of attraction, and like the subjective wisdom of a seed which attracts to itself everything needed to enable its growth, man also can consciously draw forth the wisdom and ideas necessary for the fruition of his ideals, goals, and objectives for accumulating wealth. Remember, all man-made form, processes, and anything else is created and must first live in a man's thought life. He cannot mold, fashion, or shape anything until he has thought it out. In the end, thought rules the world. Think and gain riches. 1. Use the laws of mind and extract from the infinite storehouse within you everything you need to lead a glorious and successful life. 2. You were born to be rich, and you are here to lead a full and happy life. God wants you to be happy. 3. There is a definite law on cause and effect in everything. Believe in God's riches and you shall receive. It is done unto you as you believe. 4. God always is successful in all his undertakings. We are one with God, therefore you can't fail. You were born to conquer. 5. All riches are of the mind. It is your mental attitude that determines wealth or poverty. Think riches and riches follow. Think poverty and poverty follows. 6. There is an abundance of opportunity for you. Go with the current of life and stop swimming against the tide. There is an infinite number of ideas to draw out of your subconscious. A new idea you have might be worth 50,000. 7. A magnificent way to contact the infinite storehouse within it is to make a habit of affirming, God supplies all my needs. Wonders happen as you pray this way. 8. Poverty is a mental illness. Claim boldly, God's wealth is circulating in my life and there is always a divine surplus. 9. Your subconscious mind, which is the storehouse of riches, responds to your sincere thoughts in ways you know not of. 10. Thought is the only immaterial and invisible power of which you are aware. Your thought definitely and positively can produce capital for you. 11. The law of attraction attracts to you everything you need according to the nature of your thought life. Your environment and financial condition are the perfect reflection of your habitual thinking. Thought rules the world. End of the chapter. Really, I have to say that Joseph Murphy must be my favorite author when it comes to the law of attraction and the law of assumption, if you will. He is much, I would say, clearer than Neville Goddard. Even though Neville Goddard is quite popular nowadays, I still do think that Joseph Murphy is more straightforward and simpler, at least for me. Then again, it is very subjective and everybody has their own taste. I would say that since I began reading all those authors, Joseph Murphy has spoken to me much more vividly than other authors, except maybe for Florence Kovoshin, who I really put up there as one of the best authors of the law of attraction, New Thought movement, whatever the case might be. Anyhow, what I do like about Joseph Murphy is he's never lacking stories to prove a point. He would always give a teaching, tell a story, and even within the story give us a teaching and affirmations and whatnot. So I think he's really complete when it comes to teaching us the way to use the law. So I would say that Joseph Murphy can speak to those who are affirmers, so to speak, who like to affirm, because Joseph Murphy speaks more about affirmations than anybody else, except maybe for Louise Hay, which is a kind of a modern version of, she passed away, but she was a modern version of Joseph Murphy, and a great one at this too. You have to really guard your mind. For those of you who are interested in mental diet, I strongly recommend starting with Emmett Fox, The 7-Day Mental Diet. For those of you who are aware of this, you understand how much power you can gain from guarding your mind, and not necessarily reversing those negative thoughts, but even letting them go is already very powerful. But if you are to reverse them the Joseph Murphy way, which is never let a negative thought end, reverse it all the time. He even said that even if you have to reverse one thought 50 times in an hour, you still have to do it. Now, when you start doing this, you gain momentum. It might be hard for the first few days, then it becomes easier and easier because you are pretty much digging up all those negative thoughts and beliefs. And of course, the beginning should be the hardest because they have been implanted for a while. But it does not take long for a negative thought to fade away when you keep on reversing it. So please do so. And don't beat yourself up if you are not the best at it at the beginning, because you don't really need to be amazing at it. You just need to put effort in reversing it as much as you possibly can throughout the days, the weeks, the hours, the minutes even. So do it as consistently as you possibly can without working too hard. Make it a game more than anything else. And also, since this chapter is about riches and wealth, Joseph Murphy has this quote that he used in this chapter that I read before, that poverty is a disease and poverty is not a quality or something like that. And because we have been taught to be humble and even minimalist, not that there's anything wrong with minimalist, but people tend to go the opposite way and think that anything that's rich and wealth and abundant and bountiful is something bad, because of course there's corruption and there's people who might make more money than they deserve, but I mean, who are we to judge, right? But of course there's a lot of excess in certain areas of life and industries and whatnot. But if we are to think of money as something bad and poverty as something good, well, you can want to make money as much as you want to, and you would still not make it. And even if you do make it, you will lose it somehow, some way. So it is important for us to not cultivate beliefs and thoughts that money is evil, that money is the root of all evil, that money is bad, and we cannot afford this and that. So any thoughts, beliefs that are pertaining to money that are negative in you, you need to reverse them by scripting, by visualization, or subconscious tapes, affirmation, whatever works for you, works for you. So really, that's what we can learn from Joseph Murphy through his repertoire of stories and teaching. Is the foundation is to reverse all negative thoughts and go from there. And something I have to add before ending this segment, you have to, when you are repeating affirmation, two things I have to say. Joseph Murphy mentions a lot of affirmations that contain the word God, and they are pretty long-winded. Now, Napoleon Hill is the same. He has very, very long affirmations. When I say very long, it's like longer than a sentence, longer than 3, 4, 5 words, which is too much in my opinion. I mean, at least for me and for most people. So the first thing I want to say is that you don't need to use his affirmations. You don't need to use the word God. You can use the word universe or whatever works for you. But all the affirmations he's giving us, all the affirmations he has given to us, can be replaced and rephrased the way that works for you. And I would strongly recommend you make those affirmations much shorter. That's just me. If you like the long type of affirmations, more power to you, but the shorter the sweeter. And what the second thing I wanted to say, I'm drawing a blank. The second thing I want to say is I mentioned the affirmation. I mentioned how he should not be long-winded. I'm really drawing a blank. I'm sorry about that. But I mentioned that the affirmation has to be short and concise, and I also mentioned that you can rephrase those affirmations. I think that's pretty much it. It must be done. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Anyway, if there's something else, and there will be more because this is just the first chapter, but this is pretty much the gist of it, and I hope you liked it. And if you want to know more, well, follow the other episodes, the other videos, the other podcasts. Wherever you are seeing this, hearing this, please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, or leave a review if you are listening via podcast. Thank you so much, and I'll see you very soon.